or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world right now. My name is Alan here with Dream Big Live Tiny, and for the last 2 nights, I had the opportunity to stay in this absolutely incredible 290 square foot tiny house on wheels out here at the Lucky Stars Ranch in beautiful Boerne, Texas in the hill country. I cannot wait to show you guys the inside of this home as well as the surrounding property that it's set on. So this tiny house is your traditional tiny house on wheels that most of you have seen once or twice on this channel already. It's built on a 26-foot trailer, and it's built by a company that some of you may already be familiar with, Tiny Heirloom out of Portland, Oregon. And this house is no stranger to the camera. It's already been featured in HGTV show Tiny Luxury a couple of years back, and I'm so excited to be giving you guys just a little taste of what I experienced here at the Lucky Stars Ranch. Now, before I take you guys inside, I want to show you guys one of my favorite parts of this little house, and it's this massive 345 square foot deck on the front side of the house. It measures about 35 feet almost by 10 feet, and it gives you an amazing place to just relax and take in the views of the surrounding property, to come out and have a cup of coffee in the morning, and last but not least, provides a great vantage point to watch the sunrise as well as the sunset, and just provides a really comfortable place to hang out during the day, especially as the weather starts warming up out here in the hill country during spring. It's a perfect place to just come out here and relax during the day. But without further ado, let's check out the inside. So upon entering the tiny house, you're greeted with this nice open floor plan that gives you a great vantage point of the rest of the house. So the house measures 26 feet in length with about 8.5 feet in width. So that gives you about a little over 220 square feet of floor space, standing floor space, as well as about 70 square feet of space up in that loft up there, which measures a little over 8 by 8.5. So even though it is tiny, for someone like me who lives in a 20 by 8.5 foot tiny house, this is a massive upgrade, and it even has a sleeping area on the main floor. So when you walk in the house, you have the living area directly in front of you. There's this small rustic 2-person couch that seems to be like the centerpiece of the house. It's a nice place to just hang out, relax, read a book, read the guidebook that Becky left by to see what there is to explore in Boerne. And to your right, or directly in front of the little living area, is the kitchen. The kitchen consists of this massive, almost 10-foot long bar top that consists of a quartz countertop on the left-hand side, as well as this butcher block countertop on the right-hand side with a beautiful apron farmhouse sink right in the middle of the two. On the right-hand side, where the butcher block countertop is, makes for a great little dining area for 2 people. There are 2 stools. It makes for great extra space for prepping meals or even getting some work done. There's quite a bit of storage in the cabinets, as well as this upper shelving that runs across the backsplash, where there are bowls, mugs, wine glasses, and pretty much everything you're gonna need during your stay here. There's also a 2-burner induction cooktop, along with all the pots and pans that you could possibly need to cook full meals here. And on the left-hand side of the kitchen, there's this extra little area that's like a cute coffee bar that has a Keurig, has a large selection of teas, as well as some coffee, a French press, and it even houses the wine fridge. So instead of your traditional fridge or even a mini fridge, this tiny house has a wine fridge, which is really cool. Obviously, it has a glass panel so you can see inside the fridge without having to open it up to see what's inside. The only thing I will say is that it doesn't have a freezer, so if you're someone who relies on like keeping things frozen, then maybe this tiny house isn't for you. But if you can get past that, just buy fresh foods if you're gonna be cooking, then it's really not a huge inconvenience. Past the kitchen, we have this little sliding pocket door that opens up into the bathroom. The bathroom is quite large for what I'm used to, maybe not for what you guys will be coming from, but it measures about 5.5 feet in depth and about 8.5 feet wide, and it has a flushing toilet. There's a large vanity with lots of storage, lots of space to house your essentials, and it has a beautiful like stone sink sitting on top of the countertop. Definitely one of the coolest sinks that I've ever seen. And there's even a tiny little closet in the bathroom with some hanging space as well as 2 drawers. And there's even a pretty large shower in the bathroom for tiny houses. It measures about 4 by 3 feet with a beautiful surrounding tile. Now coming back out of the bathroom on the right hand side, there's this beautiful ship ladder that leads you up to the bedroom loft. The ship ladder is one of my favorite things of this house, and basically it's an alternating stair that allows you to have a higher rise with less sort of depth, and you save a lot on floor space inside a tiny house. Of course, they're used in ships, but I love when, you know, people bring them into tiny houses because you really do need that extra floor space. I mean, you don't want a staircase or a ladder that basically has a really long width or depth. And the coolest thing about this ladder is there's actually some built-in LED lighting with this cool little knob on the side that you turn to turn the light on or to turn it off. Honestly, during the day, I have it on so you guys can see. During the day, you don't really need it on, but at night, it is a lifesaver, especially if you're sleeping up in the loft, to get up and down the stairs. So taking the stairs up, we have 2 single beds up in the bedroom loft, and one of the coolest things about this tiny house, my favorite part of this tiny house, I do like a lot of things, but this is my absolute favorite part, is that there's this skylight up there that you can open, and once you flip the skylight, sort of rotate it, then you can actually stand upright in the loft and have this amazing view of the surrounding property, and definitely one of the coolest features of this tiny house. And then last but not least, we have the ground level sleeping area. So this is really cool. You don't see this as often in tiny houses, as I wish we did, is an actual sleeping area on the ground level that you don't have to climb some massive staircase or ladder to. The bed is elevated a little bit higher than usual, but it's functional because that actually gives you tons of storage space for all your bags, all your luggage, anything you're bringing on your trip here. So there's 2 or 3 little steps that you take up to the bed, and it's a full-size bed and has 2 massive windows on both sides so you can get views of the surrounding property. And honestly, it is one of the most comfortable beds I have ever slept on. I even removed the sheet so I can see what kind of mattress it was because I absolutely loved it. And I found out it's a bamboo mattress. Definitely one of the most comfortable ones that I've ever slept on. I think you guys will love it as well. And there's even a little TV in the corner that swivels. There's Netflix on there. And there's actually surprisingly really good Wi-Fi. I know some of you guys may be considering this place for a work from home stint, either for a week or sometime during the week. It might allow you to kind of do that during the week. You know, most places out here in the hill country, that's sort of the big drawback, is that in order to be out here in nature and be surrounded in a property like this, your compromise is essentially slow Wi-Fi or less access to a town. But honestly, this place is perfect for that. Like I said, you're only 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minute drive into Boerne. There's HEB, there's grocery stores, pretty much anything you need. And there's really strong Wi-Fi here tethered to the main house. So you guys definitely won't need to worry about that. And I mean, it's a great little workspace here on this little bench bar top, and you get an amazing view of the back of the property. Honestly, I love just like setting up for an hour or 2 here yesterday and getting some work done. I open the window, you can hear all the birds chirping. It's a really, really great place, and I hope you guys will come out and check it out for yourselves. So the Lucky Stars tiny house is situated on a beautiful 7-acre property just a few miles outside of Boerne, Texas. The Airbnb host of this property, Becky, she's the sweetest lady, one of the nicest, most attentive hosts that I've ever had at any of the Airbnbs that I've ever stayed at. I actually met her on arrival, and we had a nice little conversation about her motivations for building this tiny house out here. And she just really wants, you know, everyone who comes out here to have an incredible stay. You can just tell the attention to detail inside and outside of this property, the little touches. Though I won't share too much, you guys will have to come out and experience it for yourself. But it's just superior to a lot of places that I've stayed at and make this a really special place. But the fact that you're only a few miles from the center of town, it's about a 5 to 10 minute drive into Boerne, makes for a great little weekend getaway for a Friday, Saturday, or a Saturday, Sunday night to spend here. Going into town, there's lots of cute little coffee shops. There's several breweries there, just situated along the creek that runs right through the middle of Boerne. And if you decide to stay here more than a couple of days and you see everything that you need to see in Boerne, then the really cool thing is that San Antonio is only 45 minutes away. You have Guadalupe River State Park, which is about 30 minutes away, and then Enchanted Rock in Fredericksburg is about an hour away from here. So that makes the Lucky Star tiny house a great little place to have as your home base to go visit the surrounding hill country area. So So that is it, guys. That is the tour of the Lucky Stars tiny house. I hope you guys enjoyed that little tour of the inside and outside of this property. I absolutely loved staying here, so much so that I want to come back and experience it again without actually filming a tour and without spending time filming and documenting and whatnot, and just relax and enjoy the property as it should be. If you guys want to check this place out for yourself, I will leave a link to the Airbnb listing below, as well as a link to sign up for an Airbnb account and get up to $50 off your first stay. The Lucky Star tiny house does have a 2-night minimum, but honestly, I wouldn't even recommend staying less than that, so that you get the full experience of staying out here in this beautiful little oasis out in the hill country. Even though you're really close to town, it still feels like you have this really private space to yourself when you're out here at the Lucky Stars. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tour of the Lucky Stars tiny house. I will see you in the next one.